We ranked 49th out of 50 states in federal test scores in our public school system. You would think that reading, writing, and arithmetic would be the top priority of the state at this time, yet we just saw a bill passed and signed by the governor that puts a mandate on local school districts to provide for the history of homosexuals in the state of California.
Kids come first. They've always come first. We've got to make them get better educated and spend the money towards their education and so forth instead of on other projects that are not viable for these kids.
Yeah, I think that's probably, if anything, maybe the most important point that and is one of the strengths of Bob.
As a father of 4 children, you know, I have a vested interest to make sure that they're all educated. You know, I grew up here in California, born and raised, and seen the education system, and there's definitely a lot of work that can be done there, and you know, I'll support anybody that wants to support my children's education.
I appreciate Bob's stance on education and how he supports kids. He knows that it's important to continue to fight for our kids, fight for the right kind of education programs. We need to make sure that the money is reaching the kids in the classroom. That's really important, and that's why I believe in Bob.
Anything that we can do to help the youth improve their skills so that we can grow a better future is very important. We know that Bob Magee understands that, and we think that he's going to be very strong in his efforts to continue to build on that.
And we need to continue to invest in education because that is our future. But we need to do this while reducing overhead. The cost of bureaucratic oversight cannot outweigh the front line of production. And in education, that front line is your classroom teacher. We must reward and retain good teachers and retrain or release poor performers, just like we do in business.
We spend more to incarcerate prisoners in the state of California than we spend on higher education, and the state announced today that they have a 10% increase in tuition for many of our kids that can hardly afford to go to college, which further exacerbates the dumbing down of the state of California.
One of the things that I like about Bob's position is the idea of going ahead and being able to decrease tuition for higher education. A lot of times we have our kids leave the public education system and wind up not being able to go to higher education because of the difficulty of paying for it at that time. And with Bob going ahead and working towards providing more higher education, it benefits California and it winds up benefiting the students themselves.